This is going to be a short video on the problems that we found with Detect Magic and how we're going to be fixing them for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. With the remaster, for those of you who are unaware, the Pathfinder came out with a player core 1 and the GM core. And what this does is, because of the whole horribleness that the Wizards tried to pull with their licensing, I'm not going to rehash that here, they decided to redo their edition of the game. So they obviously... books! This is the old book. This is actually probably the first or second printing of the first book. There's probably like 5 printings now. And then new book. All right, so... What changed and why is there a problem with Detect Magic? Well, one of the things they removed is spell schools. Now, Wizard makes references to spell schools now, but it's more like a college. It's more like, well, my college of, magic focuses on blowing stuff up with elements instead of saying evocation. And to a point, the way the Wizard thing is, there actually is more leeway for us to have fun in the game and maybe not be beholden to, I'm just a boom wizard, I just blow stuff up and I use fire to do it, or a variety of elements. So, not RP withstanding, the change to Detect Magic and the removal of spell schools poses a challenge when we as players, or we as even GMs, need to describe what happens when people cast magic. And I'm not even saying like the flourish and like, oh, fire, go ball of fire, or the flaming sphere rolls over. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like when a player says, I cast Detect Magic. The way it used to work and the way it works now, there's a void of, and not pun not intended, there's a void or a missing piece that got removed that they didn't fill anything in that void, and it makes it more difficult to explain things the way the spell works. So let's go into what Detect Magic used to do, what Detect Magic does now, why I think this is a problem, and how we went about and fixed it. So first things first, you're going to see on the screen here, I'm going to put the Detect Magic probably from Nethys, how it reads. And I'm just going to read it to you right now. You send out a pulse that registers the presence of magic. You receive no information beyond the presence or absence of magic. So it's a basically, you pulse a sonar burst, and you say, oh, is there magic in the radius of this spell, which is 30 foot out from you? So boom, boom, is it magic or not? And then you can choose to ignore active spell effects and magic items from the people you know that have active spell effects of magic. So your compatriots has major, one of the person has, like the cleric has Shield of Faith on, you know that for a fact, and the rogue has a magic cloak. You can ignore all of that and just say, is there any new magic that I don't know about? And you did the pulse, yes or no. Do I detect magic? Yes. Do I detect magic? No. Perfect. All right, no problem so far. No problems. The problems, and obviously there's a little blurb about how it affects and interacts with illusions. So illusions are still a thing. It's not a school of magic, but it's a type of magic, meaning that wall isn't really there. It's an illusion. And then did my Detect Magic detect that spell is trying to fool me into thinking that it's a wall? If it was easy that a first level Detect Magic to detect a 20th level illusion, we'd have a problem. But there's rules in there for that. We're going to skip over that. We understand that it's there. That's not the problem. At 3rd rank, I'm learning to use the right terms now. At 3rd rank, so when you've appropriately got enough level to cast 3rd ranked spells, this gets a new ability. This is a heightened effect because this is a cantrip, and cantrips automatically heighten to half your level rounded up. So at 5th level, if you're a 5th level caster that has Detect Magic, you would cast this as 3rd rank. So it's half your level, round up. You learn the school of magic of the highest level effect within range of the spell that it detects. If multiple effects are equally as strong, meaning they're the same rank or level, then the GM determines which one you find out about. Or maybe the GM gives it to you that you find out about multiple. Who knows? Therein lies the problem, because the 4th level effect we're going to get to, but basically it lets you pinpoint where it is. So the 4th rank effect, meaning if you're 7th level, you cast fourth rank spells. Sorry, I had to do the math. Fourth rank spells. Basically, it works as a third level, but also you can pinpoint the highest level of magic. It's like an imprecise sense. So if you had like scent or something like that, or tremor sense, it's imprecise. There's some checks that you make for that. You can detect where the highest level thing is. It's right there. Okay, good. But the third level effect, you know the school of magic. There is that's good for detect magic, because it's not always a guarantee you understand the reason the spell is there, or even what type of magic it is. Let's say you cast detect magic and you're high enough level, and your GM says, okay, you detect evocation magic in the room, and it's the highest level magic you detect. Now, evocation magic is people who know the spells, the schools of magic, like me and Jared and a lot of people in the MVNG, and a lot of you out there know that evocation magic, for the most part, means that things get violent with elements, meaning explodes, it lightnings you, it's cold, it's like blasts you with cold. Not all spells are harmful that are in evocation, but it gives you an idea to be cautious of that magic because you said it's evocation. Oh, the doors are radiating evocation magic? Oh, I have to be careful reading some special runes and have the runes blow up in my face. Right? So we know, we get a sense of the magic. Transmutation magic. We know it's transmutation. Okay, so it takes one thing and turns it into something else. So maybe there's a trap where it activates transmutation and turns stone to mud. And then behind that stone wall is a bunch of water that's going to flood this whole compartment and everyone's going to drown. It's a trap. Oh man. Okay, but my point is, you know the type of magic, you at least get an idea of what to expect. You know that, okay, so evocation magic, it's definitely going to involve elements in some way usually, and it's highly likely that could be damaging or hurtful. Transmutation or necromancy is another good one. Necromancy, that could be a healing potion. Healing potions used to be necromancy. So dealing with healing or damage so you're dealing with positive damage or negative damage or healing and negative damage, that all relegated into necromancy. So necromancy, people get a bad rep, but necromancy is how you heal yourself. So just because you take magic, you take necromancy, but it alerts you to like, okay, I know what everything this isn't. For the most part, I know it's probably not going to be elemental. It's probably not going to be defensive in the way abjuration magic is defensive. It's probably not going to change things from one state to another, like transmutation magic. It's probably not going to bring things into existence like conjuration. So I know what it isn't. So it gives me an idea of what I'm dealing with. And I know that with the new remaster, they remove spell schools. For the reasons I said in the beginning of the video, the whole LGL thing, they remove spell schools. That's fine. But the way the new Detect Magic runs is this. You send out a pulse of magic. The base description doesn't change. It sends out a pulse of magic. It's still the same radius. It's still the same number of actions. Boom, 30-foot emanation. Do I detect magic? Yes. Do I detect magic? No. Perfect. Okay. Now here is the issue. At third rank, so when you're casting it at third rank and it heightens, you learn the rank or level of the most powerful magical effect the spell determines, as determined by the GM, period. We lose all of the context of what we're detecting and just that we detect it and what's the highest level source of it. This removes some information from the players. And I don't know if this was intentional or if they just literally removed the words, the spell school part, and they just chopped it out and they didn't replace it with anything. But I think this does a disservice to people who are casting Detect Magic and trying to get an idea of what they're dealing with. And then the same thing as the fourth level, the heightened to the fourth level, same as third level, and you pinpoint the source of magic is just like it says in the other. So the only change was in the old version, we detected the school as well. And then the new version, we don't get the school, we just get the highest level, which is what we get in the old version. And I think there's a super simple solution to this that is already baked in to the rules of Pathfinder. And that's the trait system. Every spell has traits. Every single spell. If you, I'm not. You don't know if you can see this, but I'll even detect magic down here. Down here. Yeah, there we go. Down here. Even detect magic has traits. Why aren't we using traits to supplement the idea of you know what you're dealing with? And I think this is a super important part of detect magic that was lost. And then how I threw this to Jared, and Jared and I were talking because we ran into this very problem. They cast detect magic. I believe it's Jeff's wizard, Sortok, cast detect magic. And he says, what do I detect? And he says, you detect magic, and the highest level is that door. And I think he gave them a little bit of information about it beyond that. I just think that you can codify that. And look, if I want to bend the rules as a GM, I'm going to bend the rules as a GM. Maybe I want to give you more information. Maybe there's a reason that you're getting less information. But the idea is that the detect magic should give you some information about the spell. It used to give you information about the spell at a high enough level. Why was that removed? So what's my solution? Well, here's one thing I'm going to add to the third rank version, the heightened third. And then the one thing I'm going to add to heightened fourth, and it's effectively the same thing. At heightened third, you learn the rank or level of the most powerful magical effect and one trait of that spell. And when when you're looking at a spell listing, you're going to see a bunch of traits that really don't mean anything in a vacuum. Things like concentrate and manipulate. You have to remember that if I'm detecting a magical effect that's in place, the spell was cast long ago. So the idea of concentrating, I'm gonna concentrate on the spell, and manipulating, using my hand gestures or pulling out some components and using my components, already occurred many moons ago. So I ignore those. And I look at this, like let's say the darkness spell. We have concentrate, manipulate, and darkness. Okay, so you detect the highest level location. There's an area of soupy blackness that you can't see through. Okay, you detect, you detect magic. It's magical. It's the highest level source, and it's darkness. That's the trait you learn is darkness. Okay, well that makes sense because I can't see through it. There must be, it's not a wall. It's just darkness, and we can walk in it. That's an assumption on my part of what I can do with that darkness beyond what the spell is giving me. Because my character's assuming, oh yeah, I know, my character knows darkness. I know what that is, right? But the trait helps you get there. But the trait doesn't give you everything. Because light, the spell light, back in the old version, light was an evocation spell and fireball was an evocation spell. So if someone said evocation, everyone got on edge, and it could have been just a torch that's magically burning forever. Right? So the point is that the traits will inform the decisions of the players and give them a little bit of information, but they're not going to give them everything. And then the one change I would make to the fourth rank version is I would give them a second trait. That's really what I'll do is I'll give them a second trait. So if there is a second trait, so my example, darkness only has the one trait beyond concentrate and manipulate. So they would only get the one trait, it's just darkness. But on, let's take, and then here, there are some exceptions where deafness doesn't have traits beyond what's used to cast it, to where it's manipulate and concentrate, and there are no traits, so then you don't give them one. But yet again, the fact that you don't give them something is as important as the fact that you do give them something. So the fact that there's an absence of traits, who go, oh, well, it can't be a lot of these spells, and maybe they guess it right, maybe they guess it wrong, but the idea is you're giving the players information. And you give them information which makes sense that they should have. If they know anything about magic, detecting the magic itself should give them a little bit. Yet again, spell school didn't give them everything, it gave them a little bit, and it gave them a direction to follow. So the traits are a little bit more open-ended because it could be fire. Okay? That could be keeping that kettle hot forever. It could be like water, like the perpetual jug of water. Right? It could be that. Or it could be something that floods the entire room that you're in, or bursts out into burning, boiling hot water. You don't know, but it gives them a point of reference to go, oh, here's how we're going to treat this now. So that's my opinion on how we retooled Detect Magic, because, like I said, we ran into this problem. We didn't know what to do with Detect Magic. Okay, you know magic's there. Okay, we knew magic was there. We're in a damn volcano surrounded by things that are not melting. We know there's magic. But being able to supplement the idea of no more spell schools, but still giving the player something, I think is super important, and it lets players, because if they know something's magical and they don't know anything about it, they are going to be way hesitant to even touch the door, and it could stagnate the game, or it can stale, and people are going to go ever analysis paralysis and just freeze and not know what to do. But if they have a little, oh wait, it's fire. Okay, we know how to do that. Let me take drink a potion of fire resistance, and maybe I'm going to mess with the door, and maybe it explodes, maybe it doesn't. If you have any homebrew rules, if you found anything in the new player core book that you found a problem with, or maybe you found a solution to a problem that Paizo didn't know existed, sign off in the comments down below. And if you like some of the you like our content in the video, we're going to be coming with a lot more information about the player core classes, as well as, like I said, videos like this where it's just short and to the point, and I just got to get an idea out. Give us a big old subscribe. But until then, may your die rolls be crits, and may you always roll max damage. See you later.